Hey everybody! So I went to Russia. I did so many things. I met a ton of trombone players. We played music together. We talked. We learned about each other's cultures. I met other people. We did other things outside of music. And I have over 25 hours of footage, over 450 gigabytes of pictures and videos. And so I'm going through it all now. And I think the best way to show you all is with a daily vlog. And so, let's get right to it. A couple weeks ago I was standing right here, getting ready to go to the airport. Hi everybody! So, today I'm going to Russia. I will explain why. I might as well explain why right now. A couple years ago, I was invited to play at the Condé Nast Digital Day in Moscow, and they flew me out, stayed in the famous, now infamous, Ritz-Carlton in Moscow, and I was there for basically just under 2 days. I flew in, I did a sound check, and talked to everybody, and then we had like dinner, and the next day I performed, and the following morning I was out of there. So, that was kind of a lot, and it took a long time to get my visa, and I had it, and I was friends now with all these people, and so I was planning on going back this past fall, and then I ended up working for a marching band, and so I obviously didn't have time to do that, and I looked at my visa, and it expires April 1st, and so I was like, this date is not going to go by. And so I booked a trip for 10 days. I started getting in contact with all of the trombone players I could find on Facebook and otherwise in Moscow. And I'm going to be playing with them. I'm going to be meeting a lot of people and catching up with old friends I met last time. So, this is the beginning of a long journey. I'm heading to the airport and then to Paris and then to Moscow. So I got to the airport. It was evening in the US. And I was taking a plane overnight, and so hopped in the airplane and we were off to Paris. While I was flying, I had a few things to do. One was brush up on my Russian because I had been learning it through Duolingo since January, and I wanted to kind of cement this stuff. So I watched Shrek in Russian to kind of get used to hearing it, and I was also writing a duet, a trombone duet that I would be performing at one of my concerts during the week. And then I was in Paris. Now the theme of the day, I guess, is arcades, because on the way to the terminal there was this arcade pop-up where you could play all sorts of games from PS4 to classic, your Marios and your Pac-Mans. It was actually pretty awesome. And after not too long, we were on our way to Moscow. The first flight from New York to Paris was about 8 hours, and this one would be about 4. And so I got some sleep and woke up in Russia. When I got through security and passport control, I switched some money over. This is kind of what the money looks like. Not kind of what the money looks like, this is what the money looks like. So here's 50 rubles, and here's 100. Now the conversion rate is roughly 50 to 1. It's a little less actually. Hey Google, how much is 50 Russian rubles to US dollars?
50 Russian rubles is approximately 87 United States cents.
So 87 cents, but the math is easier to just think of this as $1. I messaged my friend Masha. You will get to know her very well. If you saw my live stream from Russia last week, that's Masha. And so I messaged her because she was going to meet me at the airport and take the train into town with me. Доброе утро. So, my friend Masha is going to pick me up. I told her I was at Terminal E, which is what this is. But this is arrivals and she's at departures, so she just called me freaking out. But she'll be here momentarily. So Masha brought me to the air train and we went into town and dropped my stuff off at the hostel where I was staying. Now the hostel price was maybe $350 US for 10 nights. Now that's a pretty crazy price. Why is it that cheap? Because I was staying with 13 other people. There were 14 beds in this room. Now the hostel was right in the center of town, which was awesome. I could get everywhere I needed to go without too much hassle. But it's this kind of unmarked green door on this side street, and you type in a code, you walk up the stairs, go into this kind of shoddy elevator, and then you find yourself at this kind of more high-tech security and a really clean, you know, furnished kitchen, hotel, and beds. And so you walk into the bedroom and there's just bunk beds everywhere, some lockers with keys so you can leave your stuff and don't have to worry about anybody getting into it. You walk out and there's just all the shoes, so you don't have to worry about people tracking mud in. You can't wear your shoes in the bedroom. On the side room there was like this common area where you could hang out. They had like PlayStation, all sorts of stuff if you want to just hang out and get to know the people who you're staying with, which I did a couple times. And then you go down this hallway where the bathrooms and showers, computer and iron, and then down another hallway, and that's where the kitchen was, which was another common area where people hung out a lot at night. So it's a really cool place in the middle of town, and I was really lucky to be recommended it. And it was perfect. All week it was perfect. So I dropped off my stuff, I took a quick shower, and snapped a photo with Masha to send to my parents so they wouldn't worry, and then we went off to grab dinner. Yeah.
Vietnamese place is kind of canteen, but it's just quiet and you can sit and talk. Okay?
I like sitting and talking and eating.
Okay.
What is this letter? It looks like an A, but it doesn't have the slash. I don't know that one. That's new to me.
It's L. L.
What?
Look.
Well, then what's the L?
Oh, this place is closed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we can go to check it out then. I mean,
after dinner, we went to a place I was really looking forward to, the Musée Soviétique Игровых Автоматов, which is the Soviet Museum of like machines. Basically, it's a penny arcade made up of arcade games made in the Soviet Union. And so it comes with this cool map, 2 floors, and the whole thing's in Russian and English, so that was quite helpful on my first day. And it explains how each game works and what the object is. They also give you a box like this, which is filled with tokens. And so this is like a 15-cent token from Soviet Union times, and you use them to play the arcade games. And it was awesome. favorite game was this basketball game. It had all sorts of numbers and like holes where the basketball would fall, and you had the numbers laid out in front of you, and you had to hit the number that corresponded with the hole it was in, and if you hit it before the other person, it would shoot towards the basket that you were trying to shoot. And Masha beat me both times we played, so I was not very good, but it was a ton of fun. And then after we were done there, we went to grab some coffee. It was getting late, and we chatted and went our separate ways. I went back to the hostel and went to bed. I had power converters for everything. Well, really not power converters. Let me actually explain how this works now. It wasn't always this way, and some electronics it's not, but this is my laptop charger. I'm sure you've seen many of these. And they always plug in like this with a cord like that. And the reason is they just switch these out for the different countries. And this actually it's smart enough to figure out which power source voltage it's using. And you can read right on it. It will tell you the range that that you're allowed to plug in. This one says 100 to 240 volts. And so that's well within our range. And so you can get a different adapter for it there. They sell these all over, but it's unnecessary. All you need is an actual plug. And so this is what the Russian one looks like. It's 2 prongs like that. And you can plug in your standard American outlets like that. This one also has USBs. So this works fine for most things, but not all. They always say hair dryers, high voltage things, but it'll all say right on it. There's no guessing. If it says it goes up to 240 or 220, you're fine. So look at your electronics before you go to a different country and make sure that just the simple outlet changer will work. If not, you need something more severe, which I have for my looping electronics and stuff if I have to do that overseas. I have an actual voltage converter, but this is all I needed this time around. So anyway, I went back to the hotel, went to bed. The next day was voting day in Russia, so I was really excited to check out the elections. So make sure to check back for day 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the Patreon donors for making these videos possible. And make sure to subscribe if you like it. I'll see you guys next time.